Hello, Minecrafters and Redstoners. I'm Natanis Likens, and today we are here in 1.21. We are going to be talking about the trial chambers, because all of a sudden everybody has started uploading videos about them, and I see a lot of people uh, not doing things correctly or not understanding, however you want to put that. So I figure we're going to go over them a little bit. But before then, could you go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me? About 99% of y'all who watch my videos, when you do watch them, are not subscribed, and it would really help out the channel if you guys would do that. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the trial chambers. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that I see a lot of people getting wrong. These chests you can find throughout the trial chambers, and not all of them have loot inside of them. If I open this up, you can see that it is completely empty. That does not mean that the trial chamber has been looted. What these are for is because mobs drop all sorts of different items, your inventory becomes very cluttered very quickly. And these are essentially just little drop-off points you can use to clear your inventory. A nice little touch by the devs. The next thing I want to cover is the trial chamber spawners. There are 8 variations of the spawners, and as you can see there are 4 blocks around that will indicate which kind of spawner it is. And those spawners include zombie, baby zombie, slime, spiders, skeleton, bog skeleton, which is what is right in front of us, the strays, which are the snow variation of skeletons, and finally the breeze. Each one of these will spawn a certain number of mobs based on how many players are around it. And once all those mobs are defeated, it will dispense loot out the top of it. And this loot varies depending on if you have the ominous effect or not. We will cover the loot in a little bit. This is a normal vault. This is where you can get your loot from once you have defeated a trial chamber spawner. Now, the bottom there, you can see that there is a orange bar right across it. Well, that matches up with the orange keys that you can get from the trial chamber spawners when you are facing them normally. Again, we will cover the loot in a little bit, but next I want to talk about the ominous vaults. This is an ominous vault. In order to open this, you have to have the ominous key, and you can match them up with the teal color at the bottom of the ominous vault and on the shaft of the ominous key. The other indicators that this is an ominous vault is there are 2 more skulls on either side of the main skull. There are also 2 red glazed terracotta blocks behind the tough blocks that are beside it, and it forms kind of a skull-like look to it. That is the easiest way to identify this and know which key you need to use with it. Now, I know you're wondering, Natanis, how do I get the 2 different vault keys to get my loot? Well, I'm about to tell you. In order to get the orange key to open up the normal vault, all you gotta do is go in, defeat a few trial chamber spawners, and you have a chance of getting a trial chamber key for the trial vaults that easily. However, in order to get the ominous key, you need to have an ominous bottle and drink it for its effects. These come in 5 different stages, increasing the length of the debuff based on the level of the potion. Now, it'll make the trial chamber spawners much harder. They will spawn more enemies and more difficult enemies. And once you defeat those, you have a chance of getting an ominous key from those same trial chamber spawners. Now, it is important to mention here that the spawners will always reset after a given time. And you can just about always use the ominous bottle to make them harder instantly. You don't have to wait on the reset for it. But the vault, the 2 different vaults, you can only ever open once, and that is per player. So if a group of, let's say, 27 people went to one single trial chamber, all 27 of them could open up this vault right here, and if they had enough ominous keys, all 27 of them could open up the ominous vault as well. So as something that you need to realize that you don't have to run around and find 5,000 different vaults. 27 people could go into the same vault and all of them would get loot. Simple as that. Now then, before we move on to the loot tables, if you have any questions, leave it down in the comments, because I may have missed something important there, and you might be wondering something, so go ahead and leave a comment asking your question. Okay, now that we got the basics out of the way, we need to start talking about the loot and why so many people are complaining about it. So first up, we got the trial chamber spawners. When you go in and you fight them and you beat all the mobs they spawn, up here in this top area, you can see that I have a list of items that you would get from these trial chamber spawners. And that includes bread, cooked chicken, and cooked potatoes. Why it's giving you food, I don't know. We'll get into that in a minute. You also have a chance of getting potions of swiftness and potions of regeneration. And then, like I said, that is where you get the orange trial chamber key. Now, if you have the ominous effect, the loot table changes just a tiny bit. Instead of bread, you can get steak. Instead of chicken, you can get carrots. The potato, for some reason, sticks around. I don't really understand that. The potions also change a little bit. We get a potion of regeneration and a potion of strength is also in the loot table here, along with the ominous key. As you can see, it does have that teal color on it as well. Okay, so you've beaten a few trial chamber spawners, and you're wondering what kind of loot you can get with your new shiny trial chamber vault keys. So let's go over it. You can get iron, diamonds, emeralds, regular arrows, poison-tipped arrows, a bow with a random enchant on it, a crossbow with a random enchant on it, a trident with no enchants, golden carrots, golden apples, the banner pattern guster, the disc precipice, an axe with a random enchant on it, iron, an iron chestplate with a random enchant on it, a shield with a random amount of durability left, a diamond chestplate with a random enchant, a diamond axe with a random enchant on it. You can get the wind charges, random enchanted books, honey bottles, and one of the new trims, Bolt. That is what you can get out of the trial chamber vaults. Alright, before we move on to the ominous vaults and its loot, I just realized that I left off the ominous potions, strengths 1, 2, and 3. Those are possible to get from the trial chamber vaults. Alright, so you've gone into the trial chamber, you got some ominous bottles, you decided to go ahead and pop them, and you've defeated the ominous trial chamber spawners to get you some ominous keys. Now you're wondering, what can I possibly get from the ominous vaults? So let's go over that real quickly. You can get iron ingots, iron blocks, diamonds, diamond blocks, emerald blocks, a diamond axe with a random enchant on it, a diamond chestplate with a random enchant on it, a crossbow with a random enchant on it, random enchanted books, golden apples, notch apples, and then you can also get the new trim flow, the new disc creator, and the new banner pattern flow, along with more wind charges and arrows of slowness, along with the other 3 ominous potions, or other 2. You get levels 2, 3, 4, and 5 as your potential reward there. And then you get the big tamale, the thing that everybody is after for the new weapon, the heavy core. Unfortunately, this is a very, very low drop chance. I think it's like 8%. As far as getting it, you may have to visit quite a few different vaults in order to get it. And again, like I said, if you have 130 people on your server, all 130 people can open up every single one of those vaults. Now, There is rumors going around that there is a limit on that. Either it is a maximum of 20 people can use one before it starts resetting, or it is basically infinite and nobody can ever reuse them. So, yeah, just know that they are not limited to like one or two people. Like everybody on your server can open up the same vault. They can activate these same set of trial chamber spawners. That is one of the biggest mistakes that I'm seeing right now is people are going off to multiple of these for no reason. And what I mean by that is if you have 130 people, they can all go through the same 4 or 5 vaults in order to get the heavy core. They don't have to go off to their own separate ones. And as far as any other possible loot in there, there is a little bit, but not enough that you should be concerned, especially when it comes to the barrels. What I've seen in the barrels is that mostly they either have a useless axe or they have building blocks. And the building blocks are just there to help you get around. So I hope you guys found this useful, and I hope you enjoy going into the trial chambers. I'm not going to bother because the loot is absolutely horrible, and I think they need to change it. I have some ideas behind that, but I'm not going to say that in this video. This video is just meant to help you with the trial chambers. So leave a like if you enjoyed all this. Think about subscribing for more awesome videos like this one. And I will see you guys in the next video, whenever that is. Bye! Okay, so if I set the mic really, really, really low, it seems like the spiking in the microphone goes away. However, that means you have to turn the volume way up to hear what I'm saying. But we get rid of the spikiness there. So, yeah, that also means that the game sounds have to be very, very low to the point where I almost can't even hear them.